notification. It says connecting.
I can see that.
Yeah. They look quite fierce. I don't know why. I think the light's too bright and too close.
You don't look fierce. You don't look fierce. People will say, "Oh, my daughter's watching."
Your daughter's watching. That's all right. This is just like the we're just hanging out. We're just hanging
gonna
out.
hang out. We're just gonna hang out for a
While
bit.
people arrive, but also this is the moment where people who watch back. Thanks for the hearts. That is. People who watch back, they're here first, and as they know, they're my favourites. If they're watching it back on Substack or on YouTube, then you've made the effort. So you are now people who are here, and that does include your daughter. So what? No, hello. Right, we're just holding for people to arrive. I'm going to add. See, I do have this burner phone where I can follow.
Father Christmas. He follows me on TikTok. I knew I'd made it when Father Christmas started following me on TikTok.
My cousin, right?
If it's only Elsie, I just have to say, Elsie, check out my eyebrows.
Check out the eyebrows, special eyebrows for a special conversation. Before we have that conversation, what are you watching, reading, listening to? What are you enjoying? And it doesn't matter if it's a rewatch or whatever, but what's new? What to you in the last couple of weeks that you can recommend?
In the last couple of weeks, I've been reading a wren biography, the biography of the wren bird. Fascinating, but I always end up, the bird, the wren. That's amazing. Yesterday, I binge watched Sirens on Netflix.
Oh yes. Would you recommend? Don't know yet. Still cogitating.
It was one of those that you sort of went, oh,
okay,
at the end.
But also, do we rush to kind of like, because we do watch things binge? Do we? I remember loads of things I love. Series 1, it's always a bit like, and then by series 2, gets his legs under the table. Do we rush for something to be perfect too quickly?
I don't know. The one thing that I've got to talk about that I'm really enjoying, because that reminded me, because you see it week after week and you've got to wait for a week, is, of course, Doctor Who.
Oh, well, I've just booked my tickets to the cinema to see the finale.
Didn't know it's on at the cinema.
The finale is on at the cinema, and I've just booked my tickets.
Oh, did you see Saturdays?
Yes, indeed. But also, I've just discovered that to pad out the cinema experience, they're also showing that episode.
Oh, really? Oh, well, it won't be as stressful watching it a second time.
No, I did. I have enjoyed it very much. I would say that I was mad into Doctor Who when I was little, single digit, and then 11, 12, other things took over, and then it wasn't for me. And then when it came back, I've really enjoyed it, and had quite a heated conversation with somebody on a train recently. It's like, all of them are my Doctor. I don't have a favourite. What's the point? A new one's coming.
Yeah,
it's good TV. Kate and Chris is here. TV. Helen's here. There's some other people here. Hello, welcome. We're just having a natter. I would recommend. I saw the Phoenician Scheme, the latest Wes Anderson. I saw that at the weekend. I love a Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
I'm an acolyte. The French Dispatch was okay. Okay. One of the greatest premiere cinema makers of contemporary cinema and storytelling, and I'm saying it was okay, but I thought the Phoenician Scheme was bang on the money and really, really charming, really. And if you like the Wes Anderson thing, it's up there. But also, if you haven't caught them, his Roald Dahl stuff on Netflix, they're amazing.
All right, okay.
Yeah, really strong.
Right, so, okay, I'll have a look.
Have a look. Those are recommendations.
Not a huge Roald Dahl fan, I'll be honest. But
well, yeah, he was an awful old man, but that's probably why I like him. I mean, not the anti-Semitism, which is on their website. They apologise for. He did hate men with beards.
Oh dear.
Legitimate hatred of men with beards. Yeah, and Michael Rosen tells the story that him and his son were sat, because everybody assumed that Michael Rosen and Roald Dahl would have been buddies because they were big writers for children at the same time, and that Roald Dahl was in the room with his son and Michael Rosen. He completely ignored Michael Rosen, and he leaned forward to his son. I think it was Eddie, and he said, "Never trust a man with a beard. He's hiding something." And that's all he said. So
Okay.
yeah, there you go. Now, but we're not here to talk about Roald Dahl. We're here to talk about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So, Mila Cornish, you defy description. So I'm going to leave that to you.
Oh,
Tell me your story. What do you do?
what do I do? Goodness. Right. So I where do I start? Gav. Okay, so I'm a counsellor, mental health. I work with that, but I also work as an artist and I lead meditation groups. I came at it all through like holistic therapy. So I am a energy healer and meditation. I used to teach meditation, and then I was actually doing a lot of card readings, and that led me to realize that counseling is a good way to care for the people that I was looking after holistically. I started the training because I thought, well, if I don't like it, then I'll at least have got some training so I can hold this space for people safely and ethically, look after myself as well. And so that's what got me then into counselling. And the reason I kind of mention that first and foremost is because it kind of, there's a thread that weaves itself through everything I do, which is kind of healing, really. So even if it comes into storytelling like yourself, the storytelling through all my work, really, because if you're doing a card reading, if you're painting a picture, if you're listening to someone's story, if you're weaving a path working in a meditation, you're leading them to be their own main character. So there's a lot of storytelling, there's a lot of imagery, there's a lot of healing through all of it.
That's a really powerful insight and powerful description of what you do. That you're helping the people be their own main character, character energy.
Mm.
Now, I'm someone who's been interested in the cards of tarot, the imagery, and I'm interested in the kind of
Mm.
the notion of it. But I've always looked at it as someone is making a suggestion and asking questions, and then you are forced to find answers for yourself. But this notion now that you tell it is tell me your tarot is tell me your story. That's very powerful
Mm.
insight. Thank you. Now we have worked together. So how would you describe the work that we've done together? We worked together a few times.
Well, again, I think we looked for the threads. So we'd have a theme, and then we looked for the threads that wove it together for us. So we'd look at a lot of themes. I think someone sitting in a room with us as we were banding ideas about would have got very, very tired. But again, it was look at, oh, but that links to, and I love this. I mean, I now realize it's from ADHD that I get pattern recognition.
Yes.
So I just love the connection from that to that to that, and that's
Who
something that really fires me up.
who's
Like,
got the time to finish sentences? If you've got two ADHD people, it's like to me, it's all about shorthand. And don't worry, we're having 5 conversations right now, and
but we all know.
we can hold all of those in space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we had a theme. We were working together with planets, and well, you looked at the stories that could tie it in, and I wove those into the meditations, and then other things that we would bring in, like just little peripheral things that we both knew about. And yeah, that's how we worked together, and I loved it, and I hope we do it again.
I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed to say what you bring to it because I've come to some understanding. I don't think I've got an imagination. Now, hold on. I think I'm very creative. Oh, that sounds awful to say, but I'm not good at starting things. Blank page.
Okay.
Whereas I think you're one of those creators where you throw so many things at the wall. You find something to pick up from because you've got all those different disciplines. But when do you feel the most creative? Are you one of those awful morning people, or are you a night owl?
I used to be more of a night owl. I'm not anymore. Um, I feel I don't think there's actually. I can do the early morning thing. I can do that, and I do have a very beautifully clear mind if I've got something to do. But as for kind of like the muse just hurls herself at me when she arrives, really. So whatever's coming along comes along and just sparks or lands. Often it lands just so, okay. And I often joke with Claire, who I share a studio with, like, oh, I've been told I'm doing this now, and because that's what it's like. It's like, or for example, I've been doing some training and research in something, and and scent comes through it. And so I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I could do like la 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 to tie in with that. So it's things like that. Some things inspire, some things land and arrive, some things I'm led to do.
Led to do. I like how elusive that sounds. Now, you one word which stands out for me when I think of you is scent. Mima,
Scent.
you always stink really beautifully. Now, your office. So you mentioned. Tell me about your office, because walking into your office, as someone who with a neurodivergence, is a real sensory overload. But in one of those ways that just draws me in. There's something to look at. There's something to. There's a smell. Tell me, tell me about it. I've not introduced it well.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about my studio?
Your studio at work.
Studio.
Hazel, first of all, tell us
Okay.
about the room and where it is and why and what you do there.
Okay, so I am very lucky to share a studio space at Hazelhurst Studios, which is a CIC studios in Runcorn High Street, full of all of us are creatives. There's 18, we've expanded next door now. There's 18 of us, and it's such a wonderful space to be. I work at home a lot, so for me to be able to go somewhere and talk, see human beings, which is always nice, but actually just talk creatively with people as well. That's brilliant. And I'm also very, very lucky to know an award-winning perfumer, Marina Barcinelli, who has helped me along my journey of knowing more about essential oils and natural perfume and resins. And so I make incense. So while I do paint there, so I paint mandalas and deity often. I'm currently in the middle of doing a 3D Medusa. She's been hanging around for quite some time in my head, Medusa. So here she is. So it's like half the room is painting and half the then there's the drying herby bit over there, and then there's all the resins and essential oils. Because again, I think there's an awful lot of healing can come from fragrance. A lot of, it's very special. It's our gift to the gods, literally. They love it. So, resins, incenses, natural. I dry a lot of petals and rose petals and things and herbs to put within the incenses. So yeah, it all ties in, but it can clear energy, it can help with how you feel, it can just be really nice.
I think there really is something in there, because of course that sense, smell transports us, doesn't it? It transports us. The smell of something that makes you think, oh. When I walk into schools and I can smell there's a particular school dinner smell, which just makes me think about being, 1970s primary schools. There's something about it. It's like you're straight back there, and it's.
That's not a smell I want to smell.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it's a good one.
No.
But smell really is transportive. Now your mandalas, am I saying that right?
You are.
What is a mandala again?
A mandala is a geometric regular, it's a container for the universe, depending on who you want to speak to, but it's universal. I checked it. I don't like cultural misappropriation, so of spiritual imagery, if you like, or traditions. So I did check it. It's universal. It's seen by some as a container of the universe. I love it for storytelling. You can use. It doesn't have to be that regular. It doesn't have to be that geometric. There's one there that I've done for a goddess.
Okay. Thank you.
For Hecate.
Yeah.
So, but generally they're regular decorative bands of colour and pattern. But you
Okay.
could use any theme on it. You see, it could be any theme. So that one was theme Hecate. So it can be any theme.
Hecate is a repeating theme for you. Tell us about Hecate and how they have influenced your art and creativity.
She is really massively, actually, because being a art school declined. I was declined. I didn't get in. I did later on to do window dressing, but not to do painting. So after that, I obviously lost a lot of confidence in my artwork, and she basically kicked my backside into doing it again. So very, very inspirational. So I do a lot of paintings that are inspired by her. However, she wasn't just inspirational. She did literally just kind of go, right, you're painting, mate, get on with it. Which
So
is
who
great.
is Hecate? Because I know Hecate by reference. Obviously, the Shakespearean references.
Yeah, she's quite enduring, isn't she? So she's a goddess that's normally associated with the ancient Greek pantheon, but actually she's far older than that. There's evidence that she goes back further than that. Sorry, I won't waste time scrambling in my brain for those facts.
This is our time. There is never a time I'm not fascinated by the things you tell me, and I think other people will be too. So don't censor yourself. Tell us.
Well, so there is evidence of her being in Caria, which is now Turkey, Babylonia. There's goddesses there as well who are seen to be very like her. So this is problem with ADHD, because now every fact that I know about Hecate has turned up at once, and I'm trying to get through them all. So she's most associated with the ancient Greek pantheon. But the interesting thing about her was that Zeus afforded her privileges that no one else was afforded. So she became the goddess of the land, sea, and sky. She was allowed to stand at his side. She just kind of stands out. She was one of the Titans who helped the who was then welcomed into the Olympians. It's like, that's really strange. So she also was the goddess who used to who helped Demeter find Persephone and leads Persephone into the underworld every autumn, leads her back out every spring. So she's a very, very important goddess. I've been researching recently how she's she's often seen as a lunar goddess. She's often seen as an underworld goddess. She's not often seen as a nature goddess, though I'm trying to rectify that at the moment with some of my writing, but a lot of other people are doing that too.
Thank you very much.
Hermes, Psychopomp. So she's responsible for
your art. You channel quite a bit of your work through that lens, do you? Her lens, don't you? So how have you got to Medusa? Now, I say this like many people my age, and Medusa, of course, Harry Harrison, Clash of the Titans, terrifying, and that representation of the feminine in mythology and stories. Very often, that the female characters, in very broad brushstrokes, were presented in mainstream way, evil characters or sirens to lure innocent sailors to their death. Or it's very often, I don't necessarily believe that when you go deeper into myths, that's the truth. But
no.
Why Medusa?
She is, she's very, very popular right now, Medusa. I read about 6 Medusa new rewritings last year. But actually, I did start a painting of her way before that. And the more I read or listen about her, credit to some of the podcasts I've been listening to, like Let's Talk About Myths, Baby. She's done a lot about Medusa, and she's been written about in so many different ways. Like Ovid wrote about her in a really different way to Hesiod, and Homer, and it's all, none of it really kind of makes sense, because it, some of the main threads of the story aren't in some of the old myths. And they even mentioned, credit again to that podcast, they even mentioned that there was a story that they just needed, he killed this woman and he needed to make her bad so he could get away with it.
Yeah. Because,
And
one of the stories I know is she was a bit full of herself. So she got punished for saying she was prettier than Athena. And it always feels like, sometimes these punishments, men can get away with as much murder and destruction and stealing as they can. Whereas if female characters are often kind of like, oh, she's a bit full of herself. Oh, we'll sort that out.
Yeah, and that sounds more like Cassiopeia. But I mean, the recent retelling is that, like, she was raped in the temple of Athena, and Athena got annoyed, and therefore, and even then you're going like, but hang on a minute, that doesn't quite sound okay either. So she made her look horrible, but again, it's like, it's a bit beauty mythy, isn't it? It's a bit, well, you define beautiful. A male hippo and a female hippo are going to find each other far more beautiful than we are.
And so do I. Now, I've also seen you with a lawnmower and your art. Tell me a bit about that.
Well, leading Les around, the wonderful Les. At Norton Priory, a local museum, I'm very lucky to have been given to borrow the space in the cloister to mow a labyrinth, because I'm also obsessed with labyrinths. And we do a different design every year. I did some amazing study at the Prince's, now the King's, School of Traditional Arts in London with Tom Bree. And the geometry, sacred geometry as well, all the connections, the numbers. I love it. No good at maths at all, but give me sacred geometry, give me a compass, and I'm absolutely just beside myself. So did some amazing study on labyrinths, and now we mow one into the grass, because you can't do anything to that grass because it's archaeology underneath. However, well, that makes it fun to plot, because I can't even put a golf tee in the grass, so I have to tie a stick to a brick and stand it upright, and then I've got my surveyor's tape measure. So that's that. I love that every year. Like we've done the same design because last year it just flooded all year.
Right. And that's only recently you've cut that again, haven't you?
Yeah, we cut it again a few weeks ago, and it was then conveniently incredibly dry. So the grass just went brown, because where the paths are, it goes brown where it's really short. If the weather's nice, we've now had torrential rain for 4 days, so I dread to think. But it's a lovely thing. It's really beautiful energy there, actually, because it's just a labyrinth. A labyrinth isn't a maze. A maze has stops, and you have to turn around and go back again, whereas a labyrinth is a continuous path inside, and then you come out again. So some people use it to leave something in the middle and then come back out reborn. Some people, it's a dance. The first time I walked a labyrinth, I wanted to dance all around it.
And did you?
I did a little bit, but there was a lot of very, very solemn ladies on it as well, so I had some.
Got to be very careful of those solemn people. A lot of your creativity is tied to the calendar, isn't it?
Yes, it is seasonal.
It's very seasonal. Does that change how you approach a particular creative point, because it is a particular point in the season for you? Are you a different practitioner in different seasons?
Yes, absolutely, because the energies around us, I work with them all the time. So the energies around us are so different. So winter solstice compared to summer solstice is just completely different, because if you look at the stories, the myths around the solar year or the lunar month, it's, for me, it's impossible to ignore, because you're in the middle of it. You're part of it. We're part of nature. Nature doesn't happen around us. We're part of it. And what I love is, someone once pointed out, it's like, well, we could say, like, oh yeah, cars though, but like, the metal for a car is nature. The petrol that runs it is Gaia's lifeblood. I mean, it's like, it's all nature, and it might not be the best bits, and it might be stuff that we really need to kind of edit, but it's all nature. All of us, we're part of all of it. So to ignore the seasonal, you're smiling at me in a very disconcerting way, but to ignore, say, the energies at summer solstice that are so, I mean, I find them completely overwhelming because I'm such a goth. It's like, oh God. But winter solstice, longest night, yes. It's a completely different surrounding, energy, everything is doing something different.
No, I completely hear you. I don't have any connection, I believe, spiritually to anything other than a Twix. But if I was able to, it makes so much sense to link practice spirituality to seasons. I understand that seasons and stories more than kind of obedience to the basic tenet of be nice. I mean, that to me, that's a given,
Yeah.
but I really understand the a deep connection, and I envy it, is the truth. I can emulate it, but really it's very surface to me, which I think it says more about me. And now, I wasn't going to ask questions about this, but you mentioned it a couple of times, and this does genuinely fascinate me. You have shared that
Bracing
you have
myself.
ADHD. How does
Yes.
a creative with ADHD that has so many skills choose to do one thing and then apply yourself until it's finished? How do you do that? Because I can't.
Well, that is one thing. I mean, doing the mandalas, it's a real test sometimes, because you start painting one little shape in one color that you've mixed up, and halfway round you're like, I'm done, mate. But you've got to carry on, because you've mixed that color. You're not going to get it again. So it's very meditative. I mean, it's meditation for me sometimes, that focus. But I actually get really cross when people call other things meditation when they're not. But everyone can meditate, by the way. If anyone's listening and they're ADHD and they say they can't meditate, they can.
I can't.
You've got to find the way to do it. That's the thing.
Okay. Now we've got about 5 or so minutes left to chat, but we've got some really lovely people here. Some really good friends are here. So now's the time to start thinking about a question you want to ask Mima about the things you've heard or what you'd like to know, and then I'll channel that to you as well. But I first of all, thank you for your time. What have you got coming up?
God, it's like Tower Records syndrome, I call it. When you walk into Tower Records, I used to do this in
Those were
London.
the days.
I used to walk into Tower Records, like 4 floors of record, and forget every band I'd ever listened to. And that's what just happened in my head. I'm nothing.
Well,
nothing at all.
I know you've got your new website coming up. Tell us about that.
Hope all being well. Wish me luck, folks. This week, my new website will be going live, because the old website's gone. So it better be quick. But I'm putting a membership arm of that on there as well. So because I'm very passionate about people being safely guided in their spiritual journey, meditation being part of that.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the thing. So it's going to have chat on it, like conversations you can have with other members. It's not all about me, but I'm keeping the price quite low as well, so it's accessible, hopefully. But then there's the website with my work on it too.
Okay, so if I was to join and sign up, it would be you offering that support and guidance and a community through learning to meditate, or is it?
Yeah, well, it's all different subjects, spiritual subjects. The conversations can go on. If you join up, there is a free moon journal that you get, and there'll be meditations on there. Sometimes there's not that much free on there. There's the community's free, and then there's discounts and advance warning on other things that will be coming up.
Okay, so I'll put a link to that. You'll send me the link, and I'll
Thank
put that
you. Yeah,
into the
and if
notes
it's
of
not
this.
there when you look, just keep looking. It'll be there soon.
It'll be there soon. Now, as whilst people, but if they want to type in to ask a question, where do you go culturally? And I do not believe in anything high or low brow. There's no such thing. If you enjoy it, where's your comfort spots for culture? What do you put on? What do you listen to? What do you read? What do you watch that makes you go, oh, comfy slippers? I know being a goth, there'll be black slippers, but still the comfy slippers.
Well, quite predictably, the comfiest slippers would be Practical Magic movie, Railway
Why?
Children,
Why that
Wuthering
one?
Heights, Wuthering Heights, but not the films.
Okay.
But Lovejoy and Lovejoy, any episode
Lovejoy.
of Lovejoy, yeah, that's
I
my
remember
comfy.
I loved Lovejoy. It's like
It's
the
brilliant.
twinkle of Ian McShane's eyes.
He was born for that role.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are nice places. That's a nice evening in Wuthering Heights. Read a bit of Wuthering Heights.
Yeah,
Watch
but
an
Yorkshire.
episode of Lovejoy.
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
So we've got here. Let me just scroll. What we got here? Oh, we've got from Elsie. It's very inspiring to watch you collect new skills and integrate them into your wheelhouse. It feels rewarding to be able to take these things that are seen as more everyday, such as therapy, being able to use that knowledge to create such a unique spiritual space. Is it? Is it taking the? I've read that badly because it's got tiny. Is it? Let me go over that again. Is it more? Does it feel rewarding to be able to take these things that are seen as more everyday, such as therapy, and being able to use them that knowledge to create such a unique spiritual space? So that connection, is it rewarding that you're achieving this, and what outcomes are you seeing where you're connecting therapy with your own spiritual practice?
There is a lot more. When I was first training in counselling, it was really like you leave any spirituality at the door, right? It was like there was no room for it. But if someone is spiritual, that is part of them. You know, it's a really big part of them. If I had to go to therapy, well, when I did go to therapy, it was very difficult because I couldn't talk about that side of me at all. So what I do find is that if a counselling client comes in, and this is where I see counselling clients, that's the other thing, you're meant to have a beige neutral room, which would drive me crazy if I was the client. But if someone isn't spiritually inclined, they just don't even see, it's like they don't even see it. They're just not interested. They don't care. If they are, it's a safe space for them, and it can be part of their therapy because it's a really important thing. So yeah, to kind of weave it all together, you know, it's those threads. I just love putting all the threads together and the patterns. So yeah, it is rewarding. It's very rewarding, and there are more and more therapists doing it.
And I
So we're
suppose
now
if
able to support each other as well.
you find a client for them and that really connects, and you've got a very strong connection, haven't you? Because you know
Mm.
you're carving this. Now I do know that there's a connection between you and Elsie Gaia. It's very cool, they say, to see your creative world expand around you as you have grown in your career. You are cool. You are cool.
Thank you. Thanking you.
Okay, so Kate and Chris ask, do you have a favourite live entertainment as a spiritual healer? Is it music? Is it theatre? And if so, what type? So you're going out um, live, something live. Where do you want to go? What is it?
I usually go to music gigs. I love anything that moves me, to be honest. So I actually sometimes have to be quite careful. For example, I saw Blood Brothers once when I was 18, and I vowed I could never ever see it again because I was destroyed. But I'd say it's usually I haven't been out much recently. But before that it'd be music, I think, a music gig. and that I really love. And it sometimes it's kind of spiritual, sometimes it's just really loud and gnarly, and I like that too.
Loud and gnarly and
Mm.
healing.
Yeah, so for me,
Yeah.
this is the thing though, and actually that leads me, because healing and spirituality and everything, it's really personal, and so many people are making it very much about, well, it's my way, you do it like this, here's my book, and it's got to be like this, and if you're not doing it right, then you're the problem. And that is something really, really toxic, and that's what's got to be, that's why I try and think of different ways that people could access something that's good for them. Wellness, well-being.
That's a really nice spot there, because I find your company just thrilling. You are, you know so, like all of us, there are times when we're making it up as we go along, but then there's times where I see there's certainty, and it's a certainty of your knowledge and your enthusiasm and your passion and the way that you connect stories into your art and your practice. And I know you've created a community around you at the work you've done at Hazelhurst and Norton Priory and other places. You draw people to you, and it is a real pleasure and privilege to work with you when I get that chance. Thank you. And it's been really lovely talking to you. I tell you,
Thank
uh,
you.
spending time with Mima, whether it's through the website and other, it's an opportunity to grasp. You run meditations, do you not?
Yeah, there's meditations approximately bi-weekly at Norton Priory. We've got a summer solstice celebration coming up as well, and a takeover day. There's some events coming up.
Oh, what?
Um,
What's a
a,
takeover
take,
day?
a takeover day. I'm taking it over,
You're
man.
curating a
I'm
day.
curating a day at Norton Priory.
Okay.
There's meditations at the Butterfly House as well
Oh,
for solstice.
in
For solstice
Widnes.
in Widnes,
That's a
beautiful.
beautiful place.
Hmm.
Yes.
Another place that I know is very healing for people.
Yes.
Um,
Not
so
everybody. Some people don't like butterflies.
no, my sister, she wouldn't go in there.
I
I didn't
want
know
to.
this until I mentioned it once in the garden and watched her run indoors.
Yeah, some people are. I want
So,
to sponsor a moth, a particular moth, a hummingbird moth, as I mentioned to you. I'm
oh, I
obsessed
had
by
one in the
them.
garden once.
Oh my goodness me. They're like the little animated creatures you see in science fiction films when they go down to a planet and all the leaves are blue and everything's like, ooh, and then this little creature comes in. But they're real.
But with massive eyes.
Yeah, they're incredible. So that's great. So new website, meditations, a
Yeah.
takeover day. I'll put
And
tlinks to follow you. Go on, tell me some more.
Hazelhurst, I'm doing some more perfumey stuff, well-being perfume stuff towards the end of the year.
So
Just
because
thought I'd throw that in.
Hazelhurst is collective of artists. I know it runs workshops, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
I'm
check out
signed
their
up.
website; it'll be on there.
Yeah, what's the ticket Eventbrite? Every now and
Yes,
again when events pop up on there and
loads of stuff on there. I've just remembered a really good show I saw recently where
okay.
the Father Christmas reading out my old favourite Ronald Briggs Father Christmas book. That was good.
Everybody wants to talk about him. Why don't you ask about me and the things I'm doing? Why is it always about him?
Well, you told me I had to do all the talking,
You didn't have to talk about him. You could have
Gavlar.
talked about me. It's not Father Christmas. It's
Oh yeah,
Gav.
sorry,
Um, everyone likes him. I don't.
marzipan.
I don't. Thank you so much, Mima. Now, if you're here, I'd love to know and what you're watching or reading or recommending as well. We did way back. You said what was the controversy? No, let's not touch on some controversy about Ben because it's got spoilers. You're going to talk about something.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I could talk about it very loosely, which is that
And in the
um
chat as well, tell us what you're watching and recommending
yes,
and reading.
yeah. No, I got in big trouble because I got obsessed about a huge plot hole in the first part of the last Mission Impossible films.
Well, I'm
But
gonna. Your opinion is very important to me, but if you're looking for plot holes in Mission Impossible films, which is basically a series of throwing a 60-something Hollywood film star out of planes, you might be looking in the wrong place.
Listen, this one's blatant. Blatant. I know. Well, that was Ben. For those of you who don't know, is my husband. That was his argument, which is like, right, so you can suspend disbelief about that, and you suspend, and it's like, yeah, but Tom Cruise could fall out of a plane with a parachute. This couldn't happen.
Well, there you go. Can I say, Ben, one of the best dressed man in the Northwest. Now, Claire, can you recommend an EO blend for
Essential oil
motivation?
blend.
Essential oil. There you go. There you go. Sorry, EO blend. Can you recommend an essential oil blend for motivation?
Motivation, right. So I would start with rosemary. Again, if you don't like any of these scents, then don't use it because it isn't going to motivate you, is it? But the first and foremost one I would say is rosemary. So rosemary is very stimulating and awakening and uplifting, and it's good for memory and getting. So if you were studying, they'd say have rosemary on your desk. You know, it's that sort of thing. Very good for memory. Orange is very comforting and cheering. So that might be a good one. It depends. Or lemon, of course. So those sort of like sort of naturally uplifting. So finding somewhere in between those, I'd say start with those. But like I say, if you have particular fragrances that you really like, I'd always start with them. Maybe not lavender because that is quite comfortable.
I've
Have a nap.
never knowingly walked past a rosemary bush without grabbing it and sniffing my hand. It is one of life's greatest pleasures.
It'll
Just to
protect you from witches as well, but obviously not very well.
I thought that was doesn't everybody and I don't mean this dismissively. What is it about sage? What is it about evil or complicated things that go, oh, stay sage, I'm out of here.
Right. Okay. So it's got a bit like, oh, good. She loves rosemary. Excellent. Um, it's all got a bit because Native Americans use white sage in smudge ceremonies. Okay, which isn't the same as just wandering around the house with a bundle. Okay, that's
No,
not smudging. That
no.
sage here. So, oh, and by the way, that's becoming overly farmed by Westerners who want to wander around the house. So the Native Americans can't use it. So let's not do that. Sage is meant to be very, very protective, clears energies, clears negativity in a space. It's brilliant in tea. I'm not a medical herbalist, so don't take my advice. For chest complaints, if you're all bunged up, sage tea tastes horrible, but it's very, very effective. But yeah, so garden sage is very, very protective. It's a kind of go-to, really, burning it in incense or in a bowl of hot water if you just want the fragrance rather than lots of smoke.
Oh, and great in stuffing.
So apparently so.
It is such a pleasure spending time with you, and I really hope we get to work together soon. I'm just there straight away, and I I do. I'm so self conscious about and as a performer, it's a really ridiculous thing to say. I'm always intrigued by the idea of going to one of your meditations, but I'm so self conscious about it. I don't know if I could. But
The
I
thing
know
you've
that
got to remember is everyone's got their eyes closed. So you
they,
don't need to be self-conscious.
they won't be looking at me. I'm not interested.
No, I'll be looking at you if that. I'll be like, because I keep my eyes open to check everyone's all right.
Yeah. No, but I know people that go and have been, and they find it such a satisfying thing, and it is in that incredible space at Norton Priory.
I know
Thank you
that.
for your time. So your
Thank
website is
you.
coming soon.
Yes,
You've
keep looking.
tantalized us with a project that's got scent in it, which you then closed up quickly. So we don't know what that's going to be. So you'll have to follow to find
Yeah.
out at some point what that will be. You've got a takeover at Norton Priory.
September, end of September.
End of September, and
Taster sessions of all little things, and you can help me build a labyrinth if you want, that sort of thing.
Oh, I get that's I've spotted so many labyrinths. There's so many all over the London Underground. I now
Yeah, yeah.
take a picture of them and then trace it while I'm on
Mm.
the tube.
And you can buy a whole book of all of them.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. Now you're welcome to stick around as I close up.
Okay, I
Thank you.
will.
Okay, thank you for those of you that are here and popped in. Next, I'm going to tell you about the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
Next
brilliant.
week, I've got Dickie Felton, and he's very kindly. I bought this one, and no, I bought this one, and then he sent me this one. His newest book is about two books about Morrissey. I know Dickie because of his work as in PR and promotion, and he works for Rural Touring, but also his writing, a journalist of old, a really interesting guy, and a brilliant traveller, brilliant photographer on his social media as well. So that's Dickie. And then if they're still here, Kate
I
and
believe they
Chris
are.
in
Yes.
2 weeks' time, who are just the
Kate and
powerhouses of a place for us. They're just incredibly. I have the privilege of knowing and working with them, and they're just so driven with their creativity in their theatre and their music and all the projects I've managed to do. Some of the
Mm.
most satisfying work that I've done as a creative, and really challenging. So that's in 2 weeks
Hooray!
time.
They both
Hooray!
sound brilliant.
Yeah, they're really good people. Well, everyone has been so interesting.
They're
I'm
all
using
three.
this to learn how to listen, and what I'm finding is the more that I'm listening, the more I'm learning. Who would have thought?
Okay.
Who would have thought? And it's good fun. Thank you, Mima. Thank you
Oh,
so
it's
much, and thank
always
you.
a pleasure to spend time with you, Gav.
Well, you're very kind. And thank you, those in the chat, people that I've
Thank
seen,
you.
Claire, Kate and Chris, and Barry, I saw. Judith Wild popped in. How about that? Judith in the Wild Catalyst Museum and other things. Brilliant photographer. I saw their photos at the Hazelhurst open day recently. And anybody else is here? Oh, of course, Elsie Gaia, who's very proud. I mean, how many people get to call someone cool like the way they did? That was very lovely. I think Helen popped in earlier. Wherever you are, I'm now going to go down, find some healing sage, and mix it up with a bit of oregano and make a bit of stuffing and
Nice.
chase away the blues. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Loads
Thank
of
you.
love.
Bye
Bye. Thanks
bye.
a lot. Bye.